Hello there, I'm Begalius. This Battlefield 6. I don't know why I tripped up a little bit, but we're gonna run with it. We're gonna roll with it. So Battlefield 6 is finally here. Well, the beta is. The open beta. Smash hit, by the way. Jesus. Congrats to the Battlefield team on making a game that's, I guess the trailer makers for making a game that's sparked so much interest. I think it's breaking some sort of records. It's really doing well. And I played the open beta. I've had some time with it. I'm a huge Battlefield fan. Been following the series ever since Bad Company 2. As a matter of fact, you could argue about kind of Bad Company 1. This franchise I've been playing for many years now, and I do want to say straight off the bat, I'm just not very good at this one. I'm currently not very good at it. Now, that's not going to shape my opinion. Don't you worry about it. But it does mean that the gameplay you see will probably not be my gameplay. I'm probably just going to snatch some online, which is what I did with the last one. So that was such a huge Battlefield game. I can't remember the title of the last one. It was like 2042 or 2142. But that game was so awful, so bad, that that was why I had to grab footage from someone else. I couldn't get my own footage. But in this instance, I'm just not very good, and I don't want people to see. You don't want to see it. I mean, it's not going to, benefit you in any way. I need to get used to this game. It's been a long time since I've been really into Battlefield. The last one I really got into was Battlefield 1, and at this point is almost 10 years old, which is just such a crazy stat to me. This one, however, okay, so I have probably a fairly controversial opinion on this game. Although that being said, all in all, I just want to plant my flag right now because I know you have to be careful with what the internet is okay with you saying in terms of this game. I like the game a lot, and it's one that I'll be getting, playing, having a great time with. So it's all in all, yes, it is a yes from me. A yes, in fact, if you're that way inclined. But the game itself, I will admit, my first opinion when I first started playing it was that you can definitely tell that it's a different team. This is not DICE, for anyone who doesn't know. As of the last game, a lot of DICE devs sort of left the fray, and they were left with this new team of young staff, and you could definitely tell the gameplay was a lot different. It felt a lot different. And unfortunately, I think a lot of those quirks have carried over to this game. I wouldn't say that I can't believe I'm saying this in 2025 about a Battlefield game, but it's still, some of the animations just aren't really there. I think a lot of these are downgrades from Battlefield 3 even. It's we see this with games sometimes, it happens. It's happened with numerous games before. So I'm not going to harp on it too much, I suppose. And, it hasn't affected my enjoyment, really. But I may be the only person saying this, but I'm just going to say, yeah, definitely it feels like a bit of an animation downgrade from Battlefield 5. And graphically, I wouldn't say I was blown away either. Although, that being said, it's a lot denser than any other Battlefield game. And in terms of cinematic gameplay, I was very impressed. There is something happening at all times. So maybe the focus is different. The excuse for the graphical downgrade from Battlefield 5 to, I think it was 2042, was that 2042 was larger, the maps were bigger, and also they blame COVID for a lot of it too. In this instance, none of those excuses really apply. I don't understand what the reason for the sort of downgraded animations is from Battlefield 5, but it's there. It definitely is a thing. It doesn't feel as expensive as those old Battlefield games used to be. If anything, it kind of feels like a AA game at times. But with that being said, getting that out of the way, I think the trade-off for the gameplay being great, being solid, action-packed, and a lot of the gameplay quirks I actually really do like a lot, I don't really care. It's okay. It doesn't matter to me. And to be honest with you, I would get just as invested into a AA game. So, again, it really doesn't matter all that much. I just wanted to say, that was something that I had noticed. But the gameplay definitely is, it's great. It really is good. I mean, the moment-to-moment gunplay does feel pretty good. Again, it has felt better. But I do like the way that the guns handle, the way the guns shoot. I prefer the weapons on option here to any of the Battlefield games since Battlefield 4. You know, these are proper modern weapons. They're not all single fire. They're not like, you know, uncustomizable. I don't think anyway. They're not, you know, it's the modern guns, which is my favorite sort of era to play with when it comes to these games. So I'm glad that, you know, it's these modern weapons, and they do feel pretty good to shoot. I do think in Battlefield they have felt better. I think probably the like meatiest, you know, better, most satisfying feeling weapons were probably in Battlefield 1, and I don't think we've upgraded from that. But there are a lot of gameplay quirks that I really do like. I love this new drag revive mechanic. Now, ever since Battlefield 5, in the Battlefield games, they've introduced this whole, you know, you can request a revive mechanic, which I've never liked. I still don't like it. I'd rather just be able to respawn, honestly. But I will say that I think that this has made things better, and hopefully makes people more inclined to revive, although I haven't noticed it. So when you revive someone, you can drag their body like around a corner while you're reviving them, or drag it anywhere really while you're reviving them, and I think that's a really cool, you know, little quirk. I have noticed that the moment-to-moment gameplay just feels a lot faster. The map design is a lot more sort of condensed, and it filters the gameplay a lot more, but the maps still feel large and open. So I think that's really great, and you end up with like lots of firefights happening over and over and over again. So that's a great little gameplay quirk. I'm a little bit confused on respawning, because it's like you have like this little cursor that you can move around, but it kind of magnetizes to certain areas. I don't know if you're able to like choose your spawn point now. I'm not entirely sure about that. I love the fact that classes have made a return, and I think the classes, by the feel of it so far, are working quite well. I can't seem to find my med packs. I love playing Battlefield as a medic, but I have, you know, I like using the defibrillator, and I like the fact that I have it immediately. That's good. I haven't really got into the depths of the customization, but, you know, I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's great. And I love the fact that, you know, the vehicles, they feel abundant and, you know, sort of all over the place. But it doesn't, you can't spawn them in, and it doesn't feel like too few and far between. I want to see a more open map with, like, you know, jets and helicopters and stuff like that. Currently it's very ground infantry, but obviously you can't just give everything away immediately. This new breakthrough mode, I haven't really noticed anything like crazy about it. It doesn't feel like a you know, evolution of new gameplay types and the new thing and the new rush. It doesn't, I'm not really, it just feels like, you know, combat that's kind of moving around the map. So it isn't really like blowing me away, but it's fine. It's not a bad game type, and Conquest is Conquest. I love Conquest. Now, honestly, you shouldn't really ask me about Breakthrough, because I'll end up playing Conquest on this game anyway. But in terms of like other features, I can't really, yeah, I mean, this just feels a lot like Battlefield 4. It feels a lot like Battlefield 4, particularly the UI. God, the UI is very Battlefield 4 adjacent. They do give you some extra bits of information on the screen here and there, so that's quite cool. But yeah, I mean, the moment-to-moment gameplay feels like a combination of like Battlefield 4 and 2042, leaning more heavily to 2042, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it runs a lot better. It does feel as though, oh, that being said, actually, this review is coming across as a lot more negative than I expected it to. Performance on the Series X is dog. It's really bad. I put it into performance mode and it's running at 30 FPS, and I'm not happy about that. It should definitely be 60 FPS. I don't know if it's my download of the game, my console, or what, but this is a sloppy 30 FPS that this game is running at, and I'm not impressed by that. It should definitely be running at 60, but I'm sure they'll iron that out for the full release. They better iron it out for the full release. I like the fact that there's progression now. Well, there was always progression with Battlefield, but when there's so many games releasing without it, it's refreshing, honestly, to have proper progression. You finish the match, you got this much XP, you leveled up, you're this level now, you unlock things as you go along. Simple, basic, tried and true, doesn't need to be fucked with, and I'm so happy that they didn't. So that's great, and I think all in all, that's the kind of vibe that I got from this game. Is just like, it's just Battlefield, dude. It's just Battlefield. It does feel good though, and I do think, like, even though I'm not overly impressed by the downgrades in animation, I do think it's kind of paved the way for a more simplistic style of gameplay that I think will allow me to invest more time into this game. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, though it feels a little bit cheaper. I do think it will lend to more addictive gameplay. So this feels like one that I will be playing, and I'm looking forward to getting back into it. All in all, so far, Battlefield 6, tentatively, seal of approval. Kind of.
The PlayStation is only $149, and you can also get leading titles.